it's not going to feel like 6 years, although this fucking hiatus has felt like that, hasn't it? But no, the reason that we jumped time is because we've set up this story that the Earth wasn't going to be survivable for 5 years, and I wanted to jump past all that separation. So the story kicks in again right around the time that everybody's, I'm in here for the reunions.
Yes, there's a title video change for the new season.
Yeah. That's why 6 years.
And the first episode, but at the same time, it doesn't quite look like Eden in my mind. Why would you describe it that way?
Well, have you seen any of the Clark standing in front of the valley and it's green and it's beautiful? Yeah, it's beautiful. That's why. I mean, the truth is, my daughter's name is Eden. I named it after my daughter, but it is also, Eden was the first biblical garden, and this is the last. Theoretically, if they don't protect this last valley, then the earth is going to be no more. And so it's either the last or the first. It's a chance for the world to come back if the characters can figure out a way to live there in peace.
Together.
And that'll be difficult. Right. The peace part is the hard part.
What's the biggest obstacle? Why can't they all just agree and get along?
Just get along.
Writing. No. I think it's, unfortunately, it's human nature on a lot of levels to sort of circle the wagons and protect your people, and that's been the theme of the show in many ways since the beginning. The way that they transpire this season, the first contact, as it were, between Clark and the prisoners, sort of necessitates the conflict, unfortunately. Clark is not, rushing in there saying, let's make peace and, let's exchange stories. It's much more trying to, she's trying to figure out who they are, what they want, why they're here, are they dangerous, can we work together? And then something happens which sort of sets off her maternal instinct, and, the rest is, you don't want to make Mama Bear mad. So I can't really talk more about it than that.
Can you share more details about the 100 prequel that you're working on?
Well, not really. I mean, the thing that I love the most about this show really is that the universe is so dense, and if you look at along the timeline, to me anyway, there's a lot of fascinating story to tell, and so I've chosen a time period that I think is interesting. It's a totally new world. It's before the show, so in a way it's a prequel, but it's sort of the ancestors. Like the protagonist of the show is, now here I am talking about it, but the protagonist of the show is Clark's great grandmother. So, and we'll meet some other ancestral descendants, and of course, we know Becca was alive back then, so maybe there'll be some connective tissue in terms of familiar faces, but it's a ways off still. We have a lot. I literally just finished the season yesterday. What's today? Friday? Yeah. No. What is today?
Friday.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I finished yesterday, so I'm going to start focusing on other things.
Allie this season is that going to be addressed whatsoever?
This season, I don't think Allie comes up this season.
Even though she's still on the arc.
Is she?
Well, in many ways, she kind of is the arc, so... But I want to know, is there going to be details about the prison transport itself? Where has it been?
Well, the prisoners, Allegis is a mining company, and there were 4 Allegis missions that we know about, that we'll learn about in the show.
Mining in space?
They send, yes, it's like a asteroid that they're mining something called Hythylodium on an asteroid called Proxima 6, and they have cryosleep. It's a long duration space mission, and something happened out there that we will learn about. They kind of took over. The prisoners took over the ship, and they've returned, expecting to find a world that wouldn't let them home because they're prisoners after all. So they had a plan for that, but it's not an unnecessary plan, as it turns out, because there's no people left. Yanked?
No.
Photobombed?
Photobombed.
Was he going to do like the Gatorade pour?
It was cookies or something.
Girl Scout cookies. Wow.
Anyway,
Anyway.
we'll learn a lot about them. It's a different group of villains. We generally, as
Are
you
they
know...
all villains?
Well, they're all criminals except for Shaw, who is part of the crew, but... in the 100, we try and sort of dimensionalize our villains so that we understand them. it was a little trickier to dimensionalize this group, frankly, because we wanted to be true to the fact that they are all maximum security prisoners. But
You
people
don't
are,
get there by being the Tooth Fairy.
Dioza has more of a political, she did some things that were horrible in the name of her cause, but her cause was probably the right one. That doesn't make her any less of a killer or a terrorist, but at least we'll understand what made her tick and what made her do what she's a very interesting new addition to the show. Graveyard McCreary's much more of a straight up, he's a much more of a straight up bad guy.
I love his nickname. That's great.
Thanks.
What about Mike Dupont?
Oh, he's great too. He plays a character named Vincent who's a serial killer. And, I can't talk too much about that character. There's an interesting relationship that develops between him and somebody else that I think will surprise people.
So you don't find any chance of levity at all in the series, in this season?
Levity? Well, I mean, there's
What is that word?
some levity. I think everything needs to have some lightness in it, but it's a tragedy. It's a dark show for sure. Things get pretty dark pretty quickly once the battle for Eden starts to feel like, it's inevitable. Yeah.
So we heard you took Kane down a dark path this season. Is there something you can share about that?
I think Kane actually doesn't go down a dark path. He winds up, he had a hard time in the bunker over those 6 years. He didn't agree with the way Octavia was running things. And he blames himself in a lot of ways for what happened, because he did intervene to stop it. And so we'll see that play itself out pretty early. But I would say actually it's not a dark path at all. He's someone who's trying to hold on to, Kane has come a long way, and he's trying to do the right thing and trying to stay on that path, but it's hard.
Can you talk a little bit about Clark and Maddie, and how about Maddie's origins?
Well, Maddie's from Shallow Valley. Clark meets her in when she finds her way miraculously to that last valley. She's a Nightblood, so a natural-born Nightblood. That's why she survived. I don't think that's a spoiler. I think in the end of season 4, she calls her my little Nightblood, and that would be the only way she could survive. So, but yeah, we'll definitely get to know all about her. Lola Flannery's great. We're very lucky to have found her. She was a breath of fresh air. It was really funny. Just a real quick story. I was on set for the finale, and it was a really dark, bloody scene, and there were body parts everywhere, and it was really, really disturbing. And on the soundstage, and I sensed movement, and I looked, and it's Lola on a scooter, just sort of riding around the set like a kid would. Just having a young person on set was really nice. It was a breath of fresh air. So I think the cast probably would agree with me. You had to watch your language more than normally. Yeah.
So you like to make every season kind of have a different feel to it.
Yeah.
What is the main story aspect for season 5 that separates it from the first 4 seasons?
Well, for me to keep the story fresh, I do like to tell a different story every year. And this season, it is about those prisoners, really. It's about, there is one survivable place left that miraculously got spared from the death wave, and everybody wants it. And what are you going to do? And, are you going to be able to overcome your internal or your sort of instinctive warlike tendencies and link arms and live there happily ever after? Or are you going to, fight for it to be yours? And hopefully they will.
Will they find out why Paradise Valley is the last bastion left for humanity, why it survived the wave?
Yeah, we don't really explore it that much, other than, geographically, it's literally got sort of like sloped walls, and the death wave went like that over the top of it. Clark talks about that. Yeah. Lucky that it happens to be within walking distance.
Or you're going to hate their guts that you never see them again.
Just ask Murphy.
So just ask Murphy. So we'll see who has bonded and who has potentially fallen apart.
Wow, that sounds ominous.
It's the 100. It would be doing the show a disservice if it wasn't very ominous at all times.
How would you describe things between Monty and Harper when we see them again?
I mean, I really hope, given the last time we saw them on the ground, they had, they chose each other. They chose life over death, specifically because of each other. So you'd hope that whether they make it or not, that they gave it their best shot. I'd like to think they're together, but 6 years in any human relationship is like so unpredictable, and I wouldn't blame them if it didn't work, but you hope that they tried.
Well, we can tell that Chelsea's been working out quite a bit, so obviously
Can you?
this is the revenge body she's working on.
She could kill me in a second. Those abs, I will never have. Like, and I'm like, I've got like pretty good metabolism. Never, it's never gonna happen. And I've like accepted that. Being around Chelsea has made me accept that.
Well, we got a sense that maybe she was working out a little extra in those 6 years.
Yeah, right. At the prison time. How do you fill it? Tons of workouts.
So what's Monty been occupying his time with?
Well, I think it depends on what's up there. Like, if there was a giant library of books, and I'm trying to think how I occupy time when I'm like unemployed and not working. And yeah, I try to like fill the tanks with books, music, good food. I think they'll be lacking in the food department, but hopefully they've got like a big cultural library up there.
No Samoas for them.
No Samoas, a lot of algae.
No Thin Mints.
I know, no processed sugar, but an algae recipe that hopefully Monty has been really working on. He's had 6 years to get it right, and so
Who's the first person he's going to want to see when he's back on the ground?
wow, whoa. Oh my! Oh, pause. Caught me way off guard. Let's say I don't know. Octavia keeps popping into mind. Probably because her circumstances have changed the most. I know I can't spoil too much, but you can clearly see that she's quite different. And I hope that she's okay, because I know her relationship with the 100 in the ground has always been very divisive. So, yeah.
Do you have creative input with your character now? Have you always had it?
No, not always. Definitely not. Especially when you're starting, I think we're all scared to rock the boat too much. You want to be a team player, and you want the show to do well. But as time goes on, it's nice. You have a bit more freedom to go. Okay,
I
the
feel
show's
that
the show.
maybe-
We're not going to get canceled. This is what I would like to see happen, and I think for Monty, always more agency, because I feel like he was always like Jasper's sidekick. He was like secondary to other people. So yeah, being a little more selfish has always been my taking control of his own destiny and worrying about maybe number one first, and then once he takes care of himself, taking care of other people.
It could be a minor spoiler, but does he get some of that in this new season?
I hope so. Oh god, the spoilers, these questions, these
I'm
tables.
sorry.
No, it's good. It's how can you not ask, but how can I not answer? It's the question as well.
You can give a little side eye roll and kind of a hint of a nod.
Well, you guys just interviewed Jason. What did he have to say?
Quite a bit, actually.
Did he?
Yes.
Okay.
Not a whole lot in the way of spoilers, but more emotions as far as the show and the characters themselves.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit.
Well, who's the one of the prisoner transport that Monty really desperately does not want to come face to face with?
What prison transport? I don't know what. I've been in space for 6 years. What prison transport do you speak of? I have no idea. I like your jacket, by the way. It's very Monty-esque season 1. It's cool.
What 3 words would you use to describe this season?
Separately or like a phrase?
Either way.
3 words. Season 5. Sorry, these are like the hardest. These are the hardest questions.
Bloody would maybe be appropriate.
Bloody? Let's say utopian, peaceful,
Really?
non-confrontational.
For the 100?
Are those the exact opposite?
I-
words that you're trying to
No, yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, we're all living in peace and harmony.
Ah.
Grounders, humans, prison ship. Yeah. They come. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's the only way on the show, I think, ever.
When you said that, I thought you misunderstood the word utopia for some reason. I was
Oh.
like, what?
Yeah, like dystopia. Yeah. No, it's all. Everything is perfect. Everyone's happy, and nothing hurt.
Does I know that he hasn't like been really friends with Jasper in a while, but has that come to mind to him in this past 6 years?
I think always.
Mhm.
I think not a day goes by that he doesn't think of Jasper and his mother, and because of how it ended, how traumatic it was. But they just asked a while ago, like, does it get easier? And I think it does. Like with any death, like the first year is always like really, really tough, and you're like just getting through the day, and you always hold on to that person, and they always mean the world to you. But it does, at least for me, it does get easier the more, because you have to prep yourself. Everyone you know is gonna die. Your parents, all your friends, you. So knowing mortality is right there, having a healthy relationship with it, and going, okay, it's okay, but still looking forward and trying to find hope.